Vision board, done. Affirmations, daily. Results, zero. You do it all, and yet 92% of people fail. They stay stuck. 92%. That's 9 out of 10 people. And the real twist about this is that it's not about belief. It's your hidden resistance. The things that you don't know that you have. Or maybe something that someone's installed in you and is causing self-sabotage. There are a lot of tools and techniques that we can do to address these. Some of them actually work so fast that they make the process automatic and you bypass it completely. But for those, you need to be trained. For now, here's a quick little hack. Psychological sigh. You take a deep breath, a little more at the top, and slowly exhale over 5 seconds. What this does is it drops your cortisol, that stress hormone that accumulates whenever you face resistance. Whenever you're up against some kind of resistance, you build up stress, and this is one of those ways to remove it. Now, why do I talk about all this stuff? Well, it might have to do with the 200K or so that I dropped on gurus back in the day, when personal development had hit its peak, when there was always some expert out there who had the solution, all of the answers. Now, you might think the money was the biggest problem. No, the problem was the time. So not only did I waste the money, but I also wasted the time on programs, personal development pieces, masterminds, trainings, all of these things that ended up being rinse and repeat. The exact same thing at its core, different branding. And I had to go through a lot of that to realize it on my own. And not just that, some of these programs would last years, constantly draining you. Not just in terms of money, but in terms of the time that you've lost that you could have had instead chasing after your goals and making the results actually happen. Years of training where little bits of sabotage were actually installed into me by all of these gurus and well-meaning coaches who, even with the best of intentions, don't actually know what's going on, who hide behind all of the vague fluff out there, don't actually understand the core mechanics of what's happening, and actually, in the process of branding it over, install a bunch of resistance pieces into you, a lot of parts, a lot of fragments. And the impact of that is devastating. What ends up happening is that you end up reaching this massive plateau, and then you never get to break it. Instead, you're on a slippery slope all the way down to the bottom. Now, there are a lot of these, but these are a lot more common. These are the hidden blockers that a lot of people have. The first is a resistance loop. What it feels like is when you slam the gas and the brake at the same time, and that you're going nowhere. But it's not that nothing is happening. It's just that you're wearing yourself out on the inside. When you notice that feeling, use what I taught you earlier, the psychological sigh, and notice the resistance for what it actually is. Now that you've discovered it, you can do something about it. The second blocker is the identity gap. This is when people affirm abundance with a poverty mindset, and that leads to self-sabotage. Look, EBSCO research on self-affirmation theory demonstrates how affirmations can actually backfire when they conflict with your identity. Same domain affirmations could lead to the opposite effect. And it does it by increasing a person's self-confidence to the extent that it promotes over-certainty and impunity. When the affirmations don't work, it's because you're not actually aligned on the inside. You're not clear. And what people don't understand is that your unconscious enforces your identity first. The third blocker is a common one. Vague goals. More success isn't a goal. It's a daydream. And there is a lot of extensive research here that shows that vague goals, not only do they rarely happen, But people who set them dramatically underperform people who are very specific with what they want, the people who have clarity with what they want. Basically, the more specific your goals, the higher your motivation towards hitting them. Without them, your unconscious is going to default to seeking out comfort or the next quick, easy win. It's like telling yourself, I want to make more money, finding a nickel on the ground, and then after that, well, you have more money, don't you? Why would the universe continue to help you? Why would your unconscious continue to help you? It already met the goal. It's got a funny sense of humor. You're not broken. You're just using the wrong method. Either you discovered it yourself, you tried it on, or someone sold it over to you telling you it's the most life-changing, easy to implement thing. They might have meant well, but the results speak for themselves. Eventually, people hit some kind of plateau, and fortunately for you, there is a proven way on how to break past it. I've been coaching for several years, and I apply these techniques and teach this thinking to a lot of people. For one of my clients, 1 month in, she ended up with a 15% raise. Another client of mine had it that they can only make more money by taking on a second job, really beating up their body to grind out the time, really working themselves to the bone to eke out extra income. After some shifts with me, they created a 6-figure job in a domain that they had no idea about. They were actually training him at this new role while paying him a 6-figure salary. Look, what I aim to do with this channel is cut through all that guru mysticism, all the empty promises, and all of that stuff. What you're going to learn here is what actually works, why it works, how you've been sabotaged, and exactly how to fix it. Next, I'll give you zero fluff tools that reveal exactly what works and show how you've been sabotaged by those gurus, well-meaning coaches, and even yourself, and map out exactly how to break through the plateau.